Have questions about your salary? Want to set up salary deductions? What about a copy of your payslip? Well then, let's talk salaries. The payroll unit within the MOFPS is located within the Finance and Accounts Division. The payroll unit is responsible for the timely and accurate calculation and payment of salaries to over 600 employees within the ministry. Today we speak with Jacqueline Guthrie. She will tell us all we need to know about the MOFPS payroll. Welcome to the MOFPS Coffee and Conversations, where we talk about the policies with the people who develop them. I am your host, Colleen Cohen. Let's take several sips of coffee and have a conversation with Jacqueline Guthrie, Director, Public Service Accounts. Hi, Miss Guthrie, how are you?
Hi, good morning, Colleen. I'm good.
Awesome. So, Miss Guthrie, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the ministry.
Okay, I've been working at the Ministry of Finance since 1994.
Wow.
November 1994. I came here as a supervisor for the payroll division. I worked there in the payroll department until 2012. Then I moved over to public service accounts, which I'm currently doing. I actually specialize in salaries within the Ministry of Finance and overall in the government service. I actually lectures in the salaries, on salaries computation at the Management Institute of National Development from time to time.
Okay. Miss Guthrie, you're an expert in the field, man. 1994 to 2000. Wow, that's a lot of years. All right, so Miss Guthrie, what I want you to tell me this morning, tell us about payroll administration.
Okay, payroll administration will entails the accurate calculation of salaries, persons receiving their salaries on time, and also if there are any queries, the queries are properly answered, and persons' personal deduction and statutory deductions are paid over in a timely manner.
All right. Tell me about the types of payroll prepared by your unit.
Okay, within the Ministry of Finance, we prepare 3 payrolls. There's a fortnightly payroll that's done like twice per month or sometimes 3 per month. And there is a temporary monthly payroll that would entail the persons who are temporarily employed within the Ministry of Finance, as well as the persons, contract officers. Then you have a permanent payroll. It's actually calculated and prepared by the Accountant General's Department. But the Ministry of Finance staff actually have to prepare the source documents, send them to the Accountant General Department, and then they would prepare. It will be checked, and before anything is finalized, there has to be a conversation between the Ministry of Finance and the Accountant General staff that actually prepares the payroll to actually address any discrepancies that might come up.
Oh, you mentioned source paper.
Right. Source documents could be like letters of employment, which would include your acting letters, your appointment letters, you talk about leave letters, you talk about your salary deductions, whether they are actually government loans or personal deductions. Those are source documents that applies to the payroll, and changes are done on a monthly basis.
Nice. I like the fact that you mentioned salary deductions, because a little birdie told me that we can now access our pay slip on My HR Plus. So tell me about the linkage between My HR Plus and the payroll unit.
Okay, all right. Within the Ministry of Finance, we use My HR Plus, which is actually an integrated human resource and payroll application. So actually what is happening is that HR actually puts on the HR information, like the person's employment letters, and then it would roll over into payroll. Payroll actually calculates, but at the same time the payroll department has to do the checking of those calculations to ensure that they are actually correct. And also in terms of deductions, salary deductions are allowed to be taken from persons' salary on a monthly basis and paid over within a timely manner. So the process is that persons will take in their salary deduction. It has to be stamped by a senior officer within the payroll department. It is a copy, or they originally sent back to the institution where the deductions came from. They would acknowledge receipt, and then it will be sent over for processing within the payroll. And after payroll is processed, then they are supposed to send the funds that are deducted from these officers, like with a listing electronically, along with electronic transfer of the money, to the institution monthly.
Okay, great. All right. So you had mentioned salary deduction. Tell us about how can one set up salary deduction? How can a staff set up salary deduction?
All right. For them to set up the salary deduction, they normally would start the process where they would actually go to the institution, whatever, if it could be a credit union, their mortgage, and they would
Commercial bank.
a commercial bank where they would do their necessary transaction. And most institutions actually prefer to get money salary deduction because they're sure.
Yes.
Because deduction actually comes out of your pay before you get your net pay. So when they get their a documentation, it would say take to your employer for them to sign
Right.
and take back a copy to us, and they would keep a copy which they would send in the process. That comes with instruction to tell you when the money actually, how much needs to come out, maybe how long it needs to come out for, and actually that it's the amount that should be deducted, whether monthly or fortnightly, to the institution.
All right. You have said so much about payroll and your unit, about salary deduction, about My HR Plus. What are 3 things you'd want the staff to walk away from this conversation with today?
That the processing of payroll is actually timely. We think about accuracy, and there also has to be communication between the employee and the staff within the payroll department. There have to be a close connection between payroll and HR to ensure that information gets there in a timely manner so it can be processed on time for the staff to be paid on time.
Right. Your branch seems to be doing a whole lot, especially when it comes down to month end and all of those things. My question to you is, what makes your branch excellent?
Okay, my branch excellent because persons cannot survive without a payroll unit, or an institution cannot survive without a payroll unit, because if the staff are employed, they are not giving voluntary service, so they're actually being paid for the service that they are giving. So without a payroll unit, I don't think you will have staff unless you have a voluntary organization.
That's right. So my final question to you is, what does service excellence mean to you?
All right, service excellence means to me customer satisfaction. It actually means that persons, if we even go back as far as looking back at the payroll unit, that persons need to get their pay on time. It actually needs to be accurate. If there are discrepancies, then there need to be a good communication line of telling persons what are the problem, and persons are able to get answers from their discrepancies in a timely manner. So as long as we have a proper communication system, basically solve any issues that an organization may have.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Godfrey, for sharing with us inside Copy and Conversation. It was an absolute pleasure sharing with you today about salaries, about payroll unit, and all that nice things. Money, 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 money. Yes, it was an absolute pleasure. All right. If you want to send your feedback on salaries, send an email to jacqueline.guthrie@mof.gov.jm. And thank you for tuning into this episode of MOFPS Coffee and Conversations, where we talk about the policies with the people who develop them. I am your host, Colleen Cohen. See you next time. If you haven't checked us out yet or been following us on social media, be sure to do so. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and now TikTok. Search for @MOF Jamaica or the Ministry of Finance Jamaica.